everyone, this is Heather. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I've got a tutorial for you to make this fun Easter tag that you can tie around the handle of an Easter basket. So for this tag, I'm using a stamp set from My Favorite Things called Somebunny. Sorry for the glare. Here's a little bit of a look of what the stamp set looks like. And I'm also using a sentiment from the same stamp set on the inside. This tag opens up and you can put a little sentiment inside. So what you're gonna need is some pattern cardstock or paper, and I'm using a cloud from Stampin' Up and a little check from Amuse Studio. I think checks to me just says Easter, so I thought that was a really good paper to choose. And then just some white cardstock, some ribbon, a coloring medium, and if you want, a pom-pom for the tail. So I used a oval shape die cut. This is the largest of the stitched shapes oval dies from Stampin' Up. You don't have to use the, a stitched shape. I just love the little extra that it adds around the edges. You could use any oval or really any shape, but I just thought oval kind of gave it an egg shape for Easter. And so ahead of time, I have used that die cut to pre-cut the green check paper, the cloud paper. Now if you don't have cloud paper, the stamp set does have some clouds in it, so you could stamp some out. Whatever you've got that works for you. And then I've also die cut 2 white ovals as well, and then we're gonna need an extra piece for our bunny rabbit. So first thing that we're gonna do is take our white piece and one of the white ovals, and I'm going to be using alcohol-based markers today. So I'm using black Memento ink. Like I say all the time, it's just kind of my good black go-to ink, and it works well with alcohol-based markers. And on the white piece, we're going to stamp out the cute little bunny. And then I'm also going to stamp out the little bow, and these don't need to be centered or anything because we're going to be cutting them out. And then on the die cut, we're going to stamp the words, and you want to make sure that you kind of center it so that you've got enough space for that fold in there. And let me get this, sorry if my shadow's in the way, and get this over the top and get that stamped in the middle there. So I've got Somebody Sends Smiles. There's lots of cute sayings in this set, so you could choose whichever one that you like. We are done with our ink and stamps. So I'm going to set that off to the side, and we're going to color up this cute bunny. I am using the Stampin' Blends markers from Stampin' Up. You can use whatever color medium you like. I'm using the light and the dark smoky slate gray, the light Calypso coral, and the light old olive. So I chose the color that I was going to color her dress based on the ribbon that I had. So I kind of found some ribbon that I thought worked well. This is just a nice little polka dot grosgrain ribbon that I got at Michael's. So I started with that and then found a marker color that would work well with my ribbon. So I'm going to color her dress with this Calypso coral, except for the collar and the pocket. So just the body of her dress. Color that in. And then on her face, I'm going to give her a little cheek and a little bit of nose. And then I'm also going to give her just a little bit of pink for like the inside of her ears. So just kind of following that line there, like so. And then I'm also going to color the bow in the same color. And then I'm going to grab my old olive and I'm going to color the collar of her dress. in the pocket. Like that. And then I wanted her to be a little gray bunny, and I did a little bit of shading. So I'm starting out with the lightest of the gray, and I'm going around those pink sections that I added. If you go over it a little bit, that's okay. Then I like to try and sort of draw a circle around those colors that I've added, just so that I don't end up accidentally coloring into them. And then just filling in the rest with the light color. Get the rest of her face colored in here. And her arms. And her cute little backside. And doesn't matter if you're gonna add a pom-pom, it doesn't matter if you color in her tail or not, because we're gonna be covering that up. So I've just gone over her with the light gray. I'm gonna leave that nearby because we're going to be doing a little shading and shadowing. So I'm taking the darker gray and giving her just a little bit of some shading around her head, under her arms, at the bottom of her dress, a bit on the ears there. So you can add as much shading as you would like. And you could leave it like that. But the nice thing about these Stampin' Blends is that they do blend back together, or blend in together really nicely. So if you go over everything again with the lighter color, you get this really nice blended look. Again, being careful not to color over those little pink accents that I added. And that just blends that in really nicely and gives you a nice little shadow there. Isn't that cute? I love this bunny. She's just adorable. And so now I'm going to cut her and the bow out. There is a coordinating die set, but I just don't happen to have it. So I'm just gonna do the old-fashioned way and just take my scissors, and I'm just gonna carefully cut around her and the bow, and I will be right back. Okay, so I have gone ahead and cut out my bunny and the little bow, and before I lose track of the bow, I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to her with a small glue dot. Just put that on her head near her ear, like that. And then I'm going to take the oval that I stamped on, and I am grabbing a scoring board. And I've kind of got it upside down from what I normally would, but just so that you can see it in the camera. And I'm gonna lay the oval down and score at a 1/2 inch right across the top. Sorry, it's a little awkward angle here. So just kind of lightly score about a 1/2 inch. Now if you don't have a scoring board, that's okay. You could just use a ruler and a bone folder. You just want a fold at the top of that oval there. Get that out of the way. And then we're going to take our cloud paper and the non-stamped white oval. We're going to turn that oval over, just so that it looks a little bit nicer on the inside, and apply a good amount of adhesive to this, and then line up the cloud die cut paper over top, like so. And then I'm going to bring this piece that we just scored over and add a good amount of adhesive just above the score line. So just this little flap here gets adhesive. And again, we're going to line these up with the cloud paper on top. Press down if you want to get your bone folder and make sure that that's really nicely stuck down. So that allows the tag to open. If you want to score or kind of fold that down like that. Okay, now we're going to take our green check paper and a paper trimmer. And I'm going to line the edge up. Now yours is going to be different depending on what size oval you used. I don't think that I mentioned this is a 3 1/4 inch high oval, but we just want to trim some off. So I've just butted the end of this oval up in my trimmer, and because I've got a check, trying to make sure that that's sort of lined up in the channel so it'll be pretty straight when I cut it. And you just want this bottom part of this green oval for the grass. So now I'm going to take my scissors and just make little teeny snips, just moving across. They don't all have to be the same width or length, and just make little cut marks all the way down that straight edge of your green paper. When you get to the end, don't cut too close. You don't want to cut off, you know, that little end there. So I'm going to bring this piece back over, and we're going to apply adhesive, but do not apply adhesive onto the cuts that you make. Just apply adhesive below those cut lines. Once again, we're going to line everything up. So kind of get that oval lined up there across the bottom like that. And now you're going to take your fingers and just kind of crunch up that paper. Just scrunch it up there. The center part doesn't really need to be done too much because that's where our bunny will be. But this just gives it some nice texture, makes it look kind of more like grass. So just kind of pinch and crunch up that paper so you get that cute look there. And now we're going to adhere our bunny with a couple of foam squares and place her in the grass. If you need to smooth some of that down, I'm going to place her on the front there. Make sure that you leave enough room here at the top for your ribbon and your bow. If you need to go back and scrunch your grass up there again, you can do that. And then I'm going to take another small glue dot and place that on her tail and put our pom-pom on here. And I picked up a packet of these pom-poms at Michael's. They had all different colors in a pack, and I think it was only a couple of dollars, $2, $3 for a bunch of pom-poms. And I just think that really adds such a cute, fun touch. So she's got that nice little pom-pom tail there. And now I've got 2 pieces of ribbon that are about 12 inches each. And I've got my hole punch, and this is a hole punch that's slightly smaller than a standard size hole punch. I want to say 1/8 of an inch. I'm not 100% sure on that. I think that's what that is. And so I'm just going to punch a hole at the top all the way through those layers. Now if your cardstock's really thick and you have trouble getting through, if you've got maybe like a crocodile or a heavy duty punch, you might need to do that, but with just a few layers I was easily able to get through it with the hole punch. So now I'm going to take one piece of ribbon, I'm going to tie it into a bow, and with a print like this where there's only polka dots on one side, when I get to this stage I will twist that ribbon and push the loop through so that I've got that pattern on both of those loops, and really kind of manipulate it around so that I've got that pattern showing through. So just kind of play with the tails until you get your bow as big as you would like it. Hold it up and see, is that good? Do I want it a little smaller, a little bigger? Just keep adjusting, playing with it. I'm going to take my tails and trim them off. So 12 inches is probably a lot more than you would need, but that just gives you lots of extra to work with. So now I've got my bow. I'm going to take my other piece and thread that through. I have cut it at a little bit of an angle to make it easier to get through the hole. So I'm just gonna, oops, thread that ribbon through and pull that through. Get the tails pretty even, and then I'm gonna just tie it over one time like that. And then your tails are gonna stay loose like this so that you can then take them and tie them around the handle of your basket. And if the edge that you sent through the hole is kind of raggedy, just take your scissors and trim that off. Kind of get this up here at the top where we want it. And now I'm gonna take a larger glue dot, which just happens to be on a runner. And see if I can't get that off. I'm going to apply a large glue dot to the back of that bow that I tied. Get my bow looking pretty. And lay that right up at the top of the bow. And you might need to continue to kind of fidget with it so that it looks pretty at the top there, like that. And there we go, there's our Easter tag. You said it's got tails here so that you can hang it around the handle of a basket. There's a place inside to write a sentiment. I just thought that this was a really cute idea for Easter. I hope that you enjoyed this project. Please check out my channel. I have lots of other tutorials and project reviews, and I hope you have a very happy Easter. This is Heather. Thanks for joining me. Bye.